Hi, my name's Ruth and today I'm going to be looking at some of the cards within the Tuning In Cards resource. Whether you're a music specialist or not, you can use the cards in pretty much the same way. You'll just be using different musical resources to create the same outcomes. So as a music specialist, you might play the piccolo. But as a TA or a parent, you might decide instead to make a plastic water bottle flute. They give pretty much the same outcome. As you'll have noticed, there are 4 different colours of card. There are pink, which are reactive, blue, which are proactive, green, which are interactive, and orange, which explore the world around us. The reactive target for level 3 is to respond to simple patterns in time, either through repetition or regularity. I'm going to focus on card 19 today, which is make simple patterns of sound that go up and down in pitch, or get louder and quieter. First, I'm going to focus on pitch. If you play the piano, you can help your child experience patterns in sound through movement like this. Guide your child's hand across the keyboard so they can feel the patterns that you're playing up and down the instrument. As I mentioned earlier, if you don't play an instrument yourself, you could always make some plastic water bottle flutes like this. Larger bottles tend to create lower sounds, and smaller bottles are higher pitched. If you've only got one size of bottle, you can change the pitch by putting different amounts of water in each bottle. So let's listen to it first without any water in it. Let's see what happens when you fill it slightly. So you can put different amounts of water into the bottle and create a range of different pitches. With just 2 bottles with differing amounts of water, you can create simple patterns. Focus on contrast in sound. So with a tambourine, you could make some really quiet sounds. And see what the reaction is. Perhaps they prefer louder sounds. At level 3, the proactive target is to make simple patterns in sound intentionally, either through repetition or regularity. Let's look at card 24. Collect families of sound makers for me to explore. First, I found all sorts of different castanets. I really like this frog castanet because it's got knobbly eyes, which means it's quite sensory experience feeling it while you're playing. You can even make your own castanets at home using items from around the house. Here I've got 2 spatulas, a pen and 2 hair ties. Different types of bells are great too. Here's a single bell. We've also got sleigh bells. Finger cymbals are great too. And finally, my favourites, a string of bells. These are particularly tactile. It's also great to use space and distance to see how your child can track these sounds. For instance, you could move some bells over their head and see if they'll follow it with their eyes. If you find your child shows a preference for a particular instrument, such as the flute, you can expand and vary their experience by exploring other instruments in the same family, like this. While your Amber Plus practitioner or school music teacher may have lots of these different instruments, don't worry if you don't have access to them at home. You can either make your own homemade instruments like I've shown you in other sections of these videos, or you can ask your Amber Plus practitioner to suggest some videos on YouTube that contain these different sorts of sounds, which can be added to your playlist to work together at home. The target for level 3 on the interactive domain is interact through imitating other sounds or recognising themselves being imitated. I'm going to focus on card 26. Copy the sounds I make with everyday objects and instruments. The idea behind this target is to encourage non-verbal communication. Musical play is a great way of encouraging children to interact in ways that they might not normally. So you can use all sorts of different techniques to encourage that dialogue. You can start off by copying sounds they make. So if they hit a drum, you copy that sound back. If they hit it once, you hit it once back. If they hit it twice, you play twice, etc. You can keep that going to and fro until they start realising that you're copying their pattern. And then, if you want to extend it, you can start trying to lead the dialogue by changing the sound from what they played and seeing whether they'll copy you back. And the idea with the interactive domain is that it becomes a conversation back and forth between the two people involved, rather than a reactive activity where the child just responds to your sounds, or a proactive activity where the child takes the lead making sounds which you purely copy. If you want to make a homemade instrument that can create a variety of different sounds for you to create these musical dialogues, a great option is a rain stick. You don't need to spend lots of money on musical instruments, as there's always things around the house that you can use. For instance, if you take an old crisps tube with a lid and get some uncooked rice and pour it in, you can make your own rain stick. You put the lid on. Now obviously, if you're going to use this with your child, you want to put some sellotape around the lid, otherwise you're going to make a mess. But you can really create quite a variety of sounds. You can go quietly, or you can go really loud. Finally, we're going to look at the orange cards, which give opportunities to use elements of the other domains to explore the world around us. I'm going to focus on card 32, which says, show me how simple patterns in sound can help me understand the way the world works. As someone whose dominant sense is their vision, it's often easy to overlook the sound cues that there are around us which signify what's going on in the world. Now for your child, those signs are really important. So it's great to become more aware of all the different sounds around us that signify what's going on in the world. Enabling your child to experience these different sounds with their associated sensory inputs is a way of them becoming more familiar with the world around them and being able to predict what's going on in different scenarios. Here are just a few examples of some of the sounds your child might hear in day-to-day life. Unlatching a gate, opening a can, eating an apple, flushing the loo, turning on the tap, and pulling out the plug. I I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like to find out more about the level 2 or 4 cards, there are other videos on this channel focusing on activities linked to those levels. Thanks for watching.